Forget the Geneva Convention. Forget the Army Manual. When you were in SOG, the only rule was, if it kills, use it. Here's the list of weapons they used in the Vietnam War. First up, individual rifles and carbines. XM177. This was the quintessential weapon for recon men. Favored for its compact size, which allowed rapid deployment from helicopters and easy maneuvering through the dense, tangled jungle undergrowth during firefights. M16A1. While standard issue, SOG operators often taped magazines together for faster reloads, relying on its lightweight frame to unleash overwhelming firepower when breaking contact with superior enemy forces. AK-47, prized for its ruggedness. Pointmen frequently carried this enemy weapon to confuse NVA trackers with its distinct firing sound, buying precious seconds before the enemy realized they were under attack. The next one, M1 Carbine. Extremely lightweight and compact, this rifle was the preferred arm for the indigenous Montagnard tribesmen who fought loyally alongside SOG teams, offering manageable recoil for their smaller stature. Next on the list is submachine guns. Swedish K. A sterile non-US weapon provided by the CIA. This submachine gun was ideal for deniable ops and amphibious missions, functioning flawlessly even after being submerged in muddy river water. Sterling L34A1. With its integral suppressor, this British commando weapon was whisper quiet, making it the primary choice for prisoner snatch missions, where neutralizing sentries instantly without alerting the main camp was mandatory. Uzi. Compact and reliable, the Uzi offered rapid deployment for close-quarters defense. Often carried by vehicle crews or operators needing a high-capacity backup weapon that could spray lead instantaneously. M3 Grease Gun. Though slow-firing, this suppressed .45 caliber beast was praised for its heavy stopping power and manageable recoil, allowing. Let's move on to machine guns. RPD. The cut-down RPD was the recon team's lifeline. Modified by MACV-SOG armorers to allow a single operator to rain belt-fed hate on pursuers while maneuvering through the thickest canopy. M60, known as the Pig. This belt-fed beast was usually too heavy for deep recon but essential for base defense and helicopter door gunners providing covering fire during hot extractions. Stoner 63, the commando configuration, was the holy grail of SOG firepower. Offering a belt-fed light machine gun that was light enough to shoulder fire, yet possessed enough ammo capacity to annihilate ambushes. RPK, scavenged from dead NVA. This reliable LMG gave teams sustained automatic fire that sounded exactly like the enemy's own weapons, causing fatal hesitation among North Vietnamese troops during firefights. Let's move on to handguns and specialty sidearms. Browning High Power, the unofficial favorite of SOG. This 9mm pistol carried 13 rounds, almost double the standard issue, making it a comforting high-capacity backup when primary weapons ran dry in a firefight. Now, this is the Mark 22 Mod 0 Hush Puppy. Purpose-built for stealth, this modified pistol featured a slide lock to eliminate mechanical noise, allowing SEALs and SOG to neutralize sentry dogs and guard geese instantly without alerting the compound. High Standard HDM. A legacy weapon from the OSS days. This integral suppressor pistol remained in the SOG arsenal for one purpose, the silent close-range elimination of enemy officers during high-risk snatch missions. Welrod. Looking more like a bicycle pump than a gun, this British bolt-action pistol was the quietest weapon in the inventory, used for the intimate and psychological removal of high-value targets. MBA Gyrojet. A silent rocket-firing oddity tested by SOG. It launched 13mm projectiles that accelerated after leaving the barrel, offering a futuristic but ultimately unreliable solution for silent jungle engagements. Continuing with grenade launchers and rockets. M79. Recon men often sawed the stock and barrel off this blooper to create a large pistol, giving them a pocket-sized artillery piece to break up enemy formations during a running retreat. Up next, China Lake Grenade Launcher, an experimental pump-action marvel carried by SEALs. This heavy weapon allowed a grenadier to pump out 3 explosive rounds in rapid succession, overwhelming enemy bunkers before they could return fire. XM148. This experimental predecessor to the M203 proved fragile in the field, but it was the first to give riflemen immediate explosive capability without needing to switch to a separate weapon system. M72 LAW. Lightweight and collapsible, this disposable rocket was often carried by every team member to initiate ambushes against trucks or to blast open reinforced bunkers during a raid. RPG-7, captured in large numbers. SOG teams turned this iconic Soviet weapon against its makers, using its devastating warhead to destroy supply trucks and inflict psychological terror on NVA forces. Continuing with hand grenades and mines. M16 Bounding Mine, known as the Bouncing Betty. This terrifying device launched into the air before detonating at waist height, serving as a lethal area denial weapon to cover a team's extraction zone. XM27 gravel mine, airdropped in the thousands. These camouflaged button-sized mines acted as an early warning system, detonating underfoot to alert SOG teams that enemy trackers were closing in on their position. White phosphorus, Willie Pete, was the ultimate tool for breaking contact, creating an instant burning smoke screen that seared flesh and terrified the enemy, buying the team vital moments to escape. M14TH3 thermite. Burning at 4,000 degrees, this grenade was used during sabotage missions to silently fuse the breeches of enemy artillery pieces or melt classified gear to prevent capture. Next on the list is Demolitions and Sabotage. C4 plastic explosive. Stable yet devastating, C4 was the universal key for SOG demolitionists, used to drop bridges, destroy caches, or instantly blow down time pencils. Relying on a vial of acid to eat through a wire, these chemical delays allowed saboteurs to rig an explosion and be miles away before the target went up in flames. Up next, M142 multi-purpose firing device. This multi-purpose firing device allowed creative operators to rig complex booby traps using pressure, tension, or release triggers, turning the jungle itself into a deadly weapon against the enemy. Nightingale device. This deception tool simulated the sounds of a firefight with pyrotechnics, tricking enemy commanders into maneuvering their troops toward an empty location while the real SOG team slipped away. Next up, edged and primitive weapons. SOG Recon knife, designed by Ben Baker specifically for SOG. This blackened SK5 steel blade was both a lethal combat weapon and a supreme survival tool, serving as a distinct status symbol for the elite. Next, SOG BOLO. With its forward-weighted heavy blade, it was essential for silently chopping through bamboo to clear patrol paths or hacking out a hasty landing zone for extraction. Ending with psychological and covert gear, barefoot boot. To defeat expert NVA trackers, SOG wore these bizarre soles that stamped a bare footprint into the mud, disguising a heavily armed recon team as harmless passing peasants. Bird call sensors, disguised as plants or wood. These acoustic sensors listened for enemy movement on the Ho Chi Minh Trail, transmitting data to aircraft to direct devastating air strikes on supply convoys.